Hey there, I'm Kathy Brown, registered dietitian and certified personal trainer, and I love talking all things nutrition and wellness for active women over 40. In my last video, we talked about the fact that February is National Heart Month, so it's a great opportunity to talk about heart health for women, which we don't talk about enough. And specifically for women in peri and post-menopause, we are at increased risk for cardiovascular disease. One of the most underappreciated superheroes for heart health is fiber. And I know it is not a sexy topic, but it does so much more than help you poop, which is what most people think of when they think of fiber. So let's talk first about what exactly fiber does for your heart. Number one, yes, it keeps your digestive system regular. What this means for your health is that your body is able to efficiently expel waste. Waste sitting in your digestive tract can be extremely uncomfortable, of course, but beyond that, it can also potentially cause impaired absorption of nutrients that you need to stay healthy. Number two, fiber lowers cholesterol by binding to bile acids and shuttling them out of the body. Bile acids are a compound that your liver produces to help you digest fats. So when they're removed from the body with fiber, the liver then has to produce more bile acids. Cholesterol is a component of bile acids. So when the liver makes more bile, it pulls that cholesterol from the blood and that lowers your cholesterol. So great tool there for lowering cholesterol. Number three, fiber stabilizes blood sugar by slowing digestion. What does this mean? Well, that means that your carbohydrates get broken down into sugar more slowly and they're absorbed into the blood more slowly. And that then gives your body more time to take care of that sugar. Either get it into the cells so that your cells can turn it into energy, or send it to the liver or the muscles for storage. Blood sugar management is important for heart health. Why? Because elevated blood sugar can damage blood vessels, and then high blood sugar is also linked to higher triglycerides and lower HDL cholesterol. HDL cholesterol is your good cholesterol, so you don't want that going down. All right, number four, and this may be the most important part or the most important thing that fiber does for your health, is it fuels the healthy bacteria in your gut. If you've heard of the much talked about gut health, this is it. This benefit has really far-reaching benefits for your heart and beyond. When the bacteria consume the fiber, among the byproducts of that breakdown of your food are short-chain fatty acids, which are compounds that have beneficial effects throughout your body, including decreasing inflammation and supporting the immune system. They're known for having preventive effects for cardiovascular disease, as well as diabetes and other chronic and metabolic illnesses. So very, very, very important. I cannot overstate the importance of gut health here, and fiber is a major part of that. Sadly, less than 12% of women get enough fiber in their diet. So let's talk about how you get enough fiber and how much you need. So let's start by how much we need. Women need at least 22 to 25 grams of fiber per day per the guidelines. With the added risk of heart disease during peri and post menopause, I actually recommend going to 30 grams of fiber a day. And I've heard several doctors and dietitians who agree with me on that. So try to aim for 30 grams of fiber. So let's talk about how much fiber you get in a serving of some high fiber foods to just kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what we're talking about here. So 1 cup of broccoli is 2.5 grams of fiber. Walnuts, a 1/4 cup, is 1.5 grams of fiber. One medium apple is 4.5 grams of fiber. A cup of blueberries is 4 grams of fiber. Flax seeds, 1 tablespoon is 2.8 grams of fiber. Spinach, and this might be surprising to you. Spinach, 1 cup packed or frozen, so really densely packed, is only 3 grams of fiber. That's not a lot. You think of spinach as roughage, but that's not a ton of fiber there. As compared to avocado, a third of a medium avocado is 4 grams of fiber. Chia seeds, 2 tablespoons is 10 grams of fiber. That is a fiber powerhouse right there. So if you're adding chia seeds to your yogurt or your oatmeal, you're getting some great fiber there. Lentils, a half cup is 8 grams of fiber. That's really good too. Edamame, 1 cup is 5 grams of fiber. Raspberries, this is another powerhouse. A cup is 8 grams. If you remember, blueberries are 4 grams. So big difference there with the same serving size. Mixed greens, again, roughage, 1 cup is only 0.5 grams of fiber. Now, even these fruits and vegetables that are seemingly fairly low in fiber, they add up throughout the day. So if you get multiple sources of fiber at each of your meals, then you're doing pretty well. So if you're thinking, I'm never going to be able to get enough fiber because we're talking 30 grams here and a cup of broccoli is only 2.5 grams, I'm here to reassure you that it definitely is possible. Sure, a basic side salad with your dinner as your only vegetable for the day probably isn't going to cut it unless you're having a lot of other sources of fiber. But you get fiber from all of your plant foods. You get it from fruits and vegetables and nuts and beans and whole grains. So there's a lot of options there. And if you mix it up and get a variety of different foods, then you definitely can get there. You just have to be mindful. So let's walk through a day of an example of a high fiber day. You could, for breakfast, have oatmeal with yogurt and berries and nuts. Then for lunch, a whole wheat sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and a side of baby carrots with guacamole or hummus. Then for dinner, roasted veggies with wild rice and salmon. And you're probably pretty close to 30 grams of fiber depending on portion sizes. So the temptation is there to just take a supplement. And I get it. It's a lot of fiber, and you're not going to hit those fiber numbers every single day. I don't hit those fiber numbers every single day, and it's become a habit for me. But there are days where you just don't feel like eating certain things, or days when you're eating out or you're out and about, and that's okay. But aiming to get that fiber on most days is really important for your health. So if you're thinking about taking a supplement, I just want to point out that fiber in the diet isn't by itself. And taking a fiber supplement, while it can be helpful in some circumstances, it won't protect us from heart disease if we're consuming it alongside a high saturated fat, fast food, junk food diet, right? And so really you want to add that fiber into an already nutritious diet. So fiber always comes packaged with other nutrients and vitamins and minerals that your body needs. Fiber also needs to be balanced with lean protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates. By the way, complex carbs are literally carbs that have fiber. So it's getting a balance. I'm not suggesting that you eat nothing but high fiber foods. You have to mix in a balance of different foods, but really try to get that fiber throughout your day. If you're falling short of the recommended 30 grams of fiber regularly, I recommend you increase slowly and be sure to hydrate. So if you increase too rapidly or with not enough water intake, then you may experience really uncomfortable bloating, gas, and even constipation. So you want to start by increasing your intake of high fiber foods by 1 serving a day and stick at that level for about a week, and then continue to increase until you reach your goal. And each time you increase your fiber intake, increase your water intake as well by like 4 to 8 ounces. It's also important to note that you don't want to eat a ton of fiber right before you do an intense or long workout, because it can cause digestive issues in the middle of your workout. So, for most people, limiting fiber for 3 to 4 hours before your training is good. Some people may need a little bit more time, and unfortunately, the only way to know is by trial and error. So this is why we train, right? For the rest of your day, though, get that fiber in. You don't need to restrict after the workout or, beyond that window before the workout. If you haven't done so already, come on over and join my Facebook group, Fit, Fearless, and Fed Women Run the World. It's a supportive group of women, and it's free. So come join and let's keep this conversation going. And as always, I am open to hearing feedback about other topics you want to discuss. Until next time, bye.